guys?
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for spending some time for us. Congratulations. It's been probably a pretty big whirlwind the last couple of hours, huh?
Yes, this is good. We've been waiting very patiently for a long time
Yeah.
to release something.
How long have you had this stuff all wrapped up?
Um, Probably actually about a year, like a little over a year.
Wow.
So it was definitely yeah. I mean, we've obviously no one's in the world experienced this ever, but yeah, it was strange to sit on it for so long and then come back to it and get like actual release date for the record, and it's a good feeling finally.
Yeah, I was reading. It sounds like you guys did most of the recording in Colorado, not too far away from here. So all of the recording and everything was done pre this whole mess coming to us about a year ago.
Yeah, we wrapped up literally like a week or two before, like, shit hit the fan basically. Like we left the studio, and like 2 weeks later, that's when all the lockdowns started, and it's crazy. Like, yeah, I just remember driving home from Colorado, and I was like, I don't know, it's like 15 hours to Chicago from Fort Collins, and I mean, me thinking like, this is going to be like bad things are about to happen. Like, this isn't going to go away.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously we'll get into No Regeneration and that album and some of the I guess the base material for that. But is it hard to be going through all this, just knowing how you guys operate and the just a bunch of material that's sitting there waiting to be written about and to be acted upon? That frustration, or did you do some more writing while you were in this pandemic?
Um, No, nothing like officially. Like, I mean, I'm always writing. That process is kind of ongoing, especially being stuck at home. And these things behind me are literally 2 feet from my head. So just by nature, I'll pick up guitar, bass, and demo like some things. But yeah, like, so I'm always writing, but nothing like officially was written, and recorded like in the pandemic.
Beautiful. And you got a brand new song out, which is fantastic. Take us a little bit into that process. Again, it was all done kind of before the pre-pandemic. So was it a normal Rise Against recording and writing session for you guys?
Yeah, yeah. We definitely made a conscious effort to take our time. You know, we would write independently and then bring in songs in a group setting and work on it and hash it out like we always, do or have done. And it just came out like naturally. So yeah, we were going about business as usual kind of thing.
Yeah, and clearly you've got a song called No Regeneration. I believe that's the title track for the album. So there's a lot of, things and themes in that. Going along with just the lyrics part of it is when you're writing music to that sort of theme, I guess, of maybe some very constructive, let's say, demonstrations, if you will. Is there a particular type of vibe that you have musically that goes along with that, or is it just a lyrical thing?
So the mood of the music always dictates the direction of the lyrics, like the theme of the lyrics. We're always a music first band, um, and then Tim will write lyrics depending on how what he's getting from the vibe of the music. So, but yeah, like it's interesting when I hear bands that write lyrics first and then write music to that. To me, that seems very difficult to do because who? I mean, I don't know. It seems like cart before the horse, but it's like whatever works for you, for you the best. But we've always done music first, and then that guides the ship lyrically.
But the message has always been important with Rise Against too. Music is equally a big part of it, but it's not like we're gonna get a Rise Against song about a one night stand or something like that. I mean, there's something involved in it, and No Regeneration is part of that as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's just going back to our roots. We coming from the punk rock scene, like we gravitated toward the punk scene because there was substance behind it. There was um, a real sense of let's try to change what we're, feeling like we don't agree with the mainstream society or whatever. And we really gravitated toward these bands that were singing about change. And so when Rise started, that's what was just instilled in us, like the substance behind the lyrics is incredibly important, always has been. But yeah, that's where you come to No Regeneration, and you tackle that subject of kids hitting, dead ends everywhere trying to get through life. And it's definitely a nod to them to say like, hey, we hear you, like we recognize that you're struggling, and we're here to help. Like our generation, the generations before us, like we're supposed to help our youth, not discourage. So that's the main idea behind that song, is to raise awareness to that.
Joe, is it crazy that that nothing really seems to change, that you always have to have that message, that somebody out there has to be flying that flag, because as much as we think things are changing, they haven't really changed that much.
Yeah, it can be frustrating, but I definitely have hope that even if you change, or if you ruffle the feathers of few, and it's to a positive nature, to where they get a little bit like a slap in the face, like, oh wait, I need to change the way I'm doing things, I need to change the way I treat people. Even if it's one person, that's one more person than the day before, right? So it's kind of like baby steps. If you look at it like on a grand scale, it's daunting, and it's frustrating, and you can't think that way. You always have to think small, and baby steps, and just hope that you appeal to as many as people that will listen to you.
Yeah. So the album's been in the bag for the last year. We're finally seeing the light of day with it. So how has the band treated the last calendar year? Have you got, I'm sure you've dealt with some stuff in post and some mixing things that have to do with the album, but have you been able to collectively come together, or at least Zoom together, or have you spent this last year kind of doing your own thing?
Definitely a little of both. I mean, with the lockdown and e-learning, like we're all focusing on our children, making sure they're, that they understand what's going on, and not too frazzled by the process. And I wanted my kids to know, like, this is temporary, and it sucks right now, but this will pass, and they're old enough to like kind of understand it. My youngest is 7, so he was a little, it was challenging to get him to sit in front of a Zoom class and get his work done. But he did great, and they see, like, they actually start full day of school after spring break, like, so they're back to the full days very soon. And but in the same time, we took this time to make sure the artwork and the theme behind No Regeneration was cohesive. We've never really done that before, where our video content and album art, we never really like coordinated everything to where it had a general theme, right? Like, so we finally accomplished that with No Regeneration. So then we took the time to get that like dialed in.
That's awesome. And in fact, I mean, the disruption of our daily routine can be a good thing sometimes, but at some point, you guys got to go back out on tour. Is it going to be more difficult now that you've had a chance to spend so much time with the family, to kind of rip yourself away from that? Or you like, let's get out of here?
I think a little bit of column A and column B. Like we are so used to these routines we adapted like over the last year, but there's just something in us, like if we don't have that outlet, like that release with live music, we start losing it a little bit. So I know I'm ready to play. I really miss playing live, because that's how I let out frustration, and or joy, or any emotion really. But to not have that, I adapted to like cycling. I would go out on my bike, and just as something that is a release, anything. But cycling is what I gravitated toward. But I miss playing for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
I'm
pretty
ready.
awesome. Yeah, for sure. Let's talk a little bit about the video for No Regeneration. It just came out as well, and this could be one of those situations where I'm reading too much into it. But I love the idea behind the video, fairly simplistic premise. But at the end, there's once you finish performing the song, there's this I don't know 10, 15 seconds of just ambient sound of you guys just kind of hanging out in the studio. It feels like it's there for a reason. Is it?
It's more of like an artful move, really. Like just something different, something to close out a video in a different way. We kind of like the idea of how we walk onto the set, we play, and then it's like the finality to it. Like definitely more of an artful move.
I like it. I like it very much. Well, Jay and I were talking, man. It was one of those songs that's a first listen for us. We absolutely dig it. We cannot wait to hear more from you guys. Thank you for finally releasing some music. I'm sure you're as excited to get it out as we are to hear it. And thank you for the time today. We appreciate it, Joe.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Take care of yourself.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.